The $5 framework that builds a millionaire mindset. This is a treat today for this live virtual conversation. In regards to Alwi Batarilan. I know I'm not saying his last name right, and I never did because I always call him Coach Alwi. But have you ever heard of someone just say it's only $5? And the funny thing is, when people think about just $5 and changing your life, you don't think those two things go hand in hand. But that's why this whole conversation, and 3 years ago, meeting this amazing mentor and one of my coaches of the AI cash story system, he literally built his business from the ground up and now millionaire and showing and pouring into other people. 3 years ago, I remember coming into one of his live sessions where he, part of Wealth Warriors, but he invited me to his private session. And he had the twins, Jared Brown and Jeff Brown. And still connecting with them today. It's like people that you connect along the way. He's helped thousands of people with their opportunity. And now always launching something new, the Digital Freedom Launchpad, a blueprint showing everyday people how to turn their actual Facebook profiles into $1,000 and $10,000 a month, like multiplied without ads, without tech, without overwhelm, without even showing your face. And I was looking at his post before you jumped on today. And he said he hit it on the head in regards to low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket. Most people think like $5 a framework, while low ticket and high ticket and even mid ticket all offer on the same engine. It's trust and belief. And then so we'll talk about today how we use AI to show the simple process with Facebook on how to build a predictable system, and then literally to be able to show a strategy to help people ages 20 to 60. And we'll go through that as well in regards to his program, because there's no excuses. So using his method, you're able to actually get a snapshot of how to build something incredible. And it's only $5. It's not because of the cost, honestly. It's because he teaches things that actually work. He's been through the process. He's been through the grind. He's even moved countries, and just right now being available to just stop for a minute for one of his students, Adrian Mays. And I truly appreciate him in the journey. So if this workshop doesn't change your life with this live virtual conversation and knowing that strategy and building with AI and your authentic story, we get to kind of dig into Coach Alwi's story today. What up though, Coach? Let me bring you to the stage. And actually have you on a live virtual conversation with Adrian Mays. How are you, my friend?
Boom! What's up, Adrian? Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, very, very well. You hit it right. I just literally moved, slowly settling in, launched a brand new program, and it's been so much stuff ongoing. I literally was finishing up recording some of my training videos because, the whole idea is it's such a huge big piece, so many moving parts, but my belief is always that break it down, build it up piece by piece, step by step, with whatever time that you have.
But you know what? I honestly want to thank you publicly because again, 3 years ago, I remember you didn't know me from Adam, and like I was in Wealth Warriors, and you had your own coaching program, and you was like, Adrian, you got this. Just jump into my program. Didn't even charge me at the time. And I appreciate those small things seriously because again, it shows the type of character and having that faith and belief of who you are, my friend. So I don't forget these things. I truly appreciate you, seriously. So in saying that, how does it feel, my friend, being a coach, being a mentor, moving, doing all these different things, even taking a break for over a year and then coming back and then just diving right back in, like it's not skipping a beat?
Well, yeah, it is tough, right? Because we need to prioritize and reprioritize. See, the biggest difference between me and everybody else is that I actually come from, 16 years as a senior corporate executive for brands like Apple, Nestle, Coca-Cola. So why I could do that where I offered you to join in my program absolutely free, no charge. And actually, you're not the only one. Many people as well, is because truth is I didn't need the money. My day job paid me more than enough. Okay. But the reason why I still decided to try and build my brand and try to build something is because, I started this entire journey because I was highly paid, but in 16 years of my corporate journey, I was let go or retrenched at least 2 to 3 times. The first time that it happened to me, it gave, before I even tell you that story, let me tell you the mindset, okay? Here I was, young kid, right? Nothing special about me. I just work hard and relatively intelligent, if you will. I only graduated with a diploma. I got expelled from school twice, so I'm not really your average Joe. And I have a ponytail with the earring as a senior corporate executive, right? So you can imagine I'm not your regular corporate guy. I've always been a rebel. So that said, when I came into the corporate world, I just implemented my street smart strategy, and I started to climb really, really fast. I was coming on the articles and all this as the young gun. So 6 years into my corporate journey, after 3 years, I was moved to Hong Kong to live in Hong Kong from Malaysia, right? And I was only 26 years old, right? So I was not bad at all and pretty good salary. And, like at that point in time, I thought, wow, every year I'm getting increment, a promotion, a raise. Man, life is good. Nothing bad could possibly happen, right? So being a typical 25, 26-year-old guy, right, under 30, you naturally spend and splurge because you know that the paycheck is always going to come month to month. Okay. So by the time I was like 29 or 30 years old, I bought a house, right? I bought myself a car. I have all this commitment. I'm like, yeah, no worries. My job is going to essentially pay for it. But in that year, I lost my job for the first time. Bam. Right. And
wow.
yeah, so I didn't have any sense of like, plan B, savings or anything because it was so stable for 6 years and I kept on growing, earning more money. And what happened was that very year, I went through, I was jobless for 6 months, right? I didn't know about creating a side hustle or anything like that. And in that 6 months journey, I really ran out of money, right? Debt collectors, credit card, my new home, my new car, all of these things started to chase in and it made me really realize that, holy crap, this is not safe at all.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I'm this young superstar coming out, article, every company want me, but it still took me 6 months. And by the time I got a job 6 months later, I was so in debt. It took me at least a year or two to repay all of those things. So that's where it gave me this wake up call that, oh, okay, having this title, this fancy job, like high paying is actually not secured at all. Someone can just, basically, this is what I always say. We are just a spreadsheet in the finance person's number, right? You're not a person. You're literally just a number with your title and, how much you earn essentially. So that started to really wake me up and say, oh, okay, I have to be really careful because now I actually have commitments as I'm moving into my 30. And I think I lost my job again, like when COVID hit. So that was probably, I can't remember what year, like 22, maybe 21. And that's the time where I say, you know what, I really, gotta double down on this thing and make it work. And even though I still managed to get a really high paying job, they moved countries again. They moved me to Thailand. I came from Thailand to the Middle East now. And I was doing well, but I was working so hard. So that's around the time that we all came together and you start to see me like really post, start to build my brand and all this. I was doing this while, traveling to multiple countries and things like that. Most nights I'm super exhausted, but I just keep on remembering that feeling of, being like losing it all completely. Right. So that's the drive. And this is actually the ambition. Those sleepless nights, those nights where, you could have just gone to bed, watched Netflix, but you built your business. This is exactly it. Because today, right, this is exactly what I envisioned. To no longer depend on my day job. It was high paying, yes, but can I create a side income that's higher paying than that, or at least match that, so I don't have to, report to a boss, go into a work where I don't get to see my wife and my baby Frenchie at all. Now I'm literally a full-time stay-at-home, husband. I cook for my wife every single day now, right, while working and building my business, which is absolutely insane. To top that up, we moved to the Middle East because it's actually beautiful over here. So yeah, crazy journey, right? And you met me when I was still grinding really hard, still have my corporate day job and, doing the coaching, doing the boot camps and all those kind of things. So, it's still something that I'm trying to get used to because only this year in May, I officially left my corporate job for good. And everybody in my corporate circle is like, dude, where do you go? What job did you get? Because they still have the 9 to 5 mindset. I was like, I didn't get a job, dude. I'm working on my own thing. They're like, what? What are you doing? Right? Because nobody knew. I've always been building a dual identity, right? I have my with you guys, right, who I am, and I also have my corporate identity with the bigger brands, right? So they just get amazed and surprised. Yeah,
But
crazy.
how does it feel to be kind of, you live in like the born identity? You have two lives, right? But now you finally can kind of let go and be Alwi, right? After
Hmm.
May of this, just May of 2025. That's crazy. How does that feel mentally?
Well, in the corporate world, I'm
Mhm.
also relatively known, right? Like I'm a thought leader. I've done speaking gigs in Google, right? Nestle, Coca-Cola. So relatively like crazy stuff, I would say. But people will always think like, man, this guy is different. Like they never understood why. And I was in my mind, in my heart, this whole time, I was like, dude, you have no freaking idea
Right.
what I do,
Right.
right? Like how I always post stories and stuff on
Hmm.
on my social here. I don't do it in the corporate world, but this year I started to do it, and people were like, "Man, you're a natural at this stuff." I'm like, "You have no idea how long I've been doing this, bro." You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to hold both, and I always tell my wife like, "These guys have no idea." Yeah. So
But you
it's
know what
just
the greatest thing about this though is finally you're able to merge worlds and show people in the corporate world what it looks like to kind of have that autonomy to, work for yourself. And so like in regards to like even that transition, I didn't even know you were posting like in the last couple of months, right? I saw your stories and stuff, and just dealing with that, the frustration of moving and things not actually aligning like you actually want them to. How do you deal with those like things that are just not laid out for you, right? What kind of mindset do you have to kind of live this double personality that's finally coming into one?
Yeah, so like I learned it very early that challenges,
Yeah.
problems, and all of these things or painful experiences that you go through is happening for a reason, right?
Hmm.
And honestly, that's the thing that's making us who we are.
Oh
And
my
when we are experiencing at that very moment, right, we cannot see it. And even when I experience it now, and I have goosebumps as I'm telling you this, because that's how I learned all of this.
God.
I need to remind myself that listen, it's tough right now, but maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe a year from now, you'll look back and say, thank God I went through that pain,
Right.
right? Just like the pain of, losing my job the first time, the
Hmm.
second time. Otherwise, none of this would have ever appeared, or, none of this drive and
Right.
motivation and vision and ambition will ever happen. So I actually tell that to my students. I will tell them, listen, I know it's hard right now, right? So I will tell them, don't say you can't. You just rephrase it in your mind by saying, I presently struggle with
Mm.
X, right? Because you are
Mhm.
only just struggling with it now, right?
Right.
But once you get through it, you essentially get a lot better and better at that thing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? One of the things I love, like, when you're in the Saturdays and coaching, like, you're honest and authentic and straight up. Like, all that fluff and stuff like that, you're not that type of coach. Like, you give it to people straight up. Like, seriously, like, if you're, don't make excuses if you don't want to actually move to another portion. But like you said, like, if you presently are in something and getting out of that turmoil, like, if someone is watching and they're having problems with even transitioning to that mindset, what would be some advice that you would actually give them before you even jump into like your program and everything?
Right, like mindset in terms of eliminating the excuses and the barriers and the challenges and the problems that comes. Well, honestly, right, it is so simple, right? If you are, I don't care what business you guys are doing, what business
Right.
model, affiliate marketing, master resell rights, digital creator, right, a influencer or a course creator. Listen, at the bottom of it all, it only means two things. Number one,
Right.
we are a digital marketer. Number two, we are a freaking entrepreneur owning your own business.
That's
Okay,
it.
right? So essentially, when you start doing stuff that's on your own, regardless of business model,
Hmm.
um, you cannot avoid the challenges that it comes, because that's what builds your character with it. So I always say you need to have a problem solution mindset to every single thing, and you just got to be so brutally honest with yourself when you evaluate yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I did a launch, it flopped, for example, right?
Right.
So, most people will say, well, it's because I didn't have this experience, or my following is small and all this stuff. No, right? We can blame everything else, but actually it comes down to you, your habits, your behavior, the things that truly drives you. So this is why these days, right, as I move into like coaching longer and longer and longer, the
Mhm.
more I just call it out as it is, because I learn now that there's no point for me to sugarcoat any kind of situation to any students, right? If I'm sharp and I call it out, it's because it's better they hear it from me than to think that, oh, I'm doing a great job. My coach say like, it's all right, it will continue. Because no, what I really want is to get them results. And if
Right.
you really want results, right, you need to hear it. You need to hear the things that you actually won't want to hear, because we've been so conditioned
Yeah.
to hear only the things that we want. And most
Mhm.
coaches or programs get paid when you stay, right? So naturally they want you to feel good and all this. For me, it's like, no, I want to get you guys results, okay,
Right.
as quickly as
Right.
possible. Like even if that means that your time working with me will be shorter, it's even better, because the real gain here, as I always say, I win when they win, you
Right.
know
Right.
that's the key. And you can see from the kind of testimonials that I create, from the kind of testimonials that people write, right? They know it, they hear it, they feel it, right? Because not everyone has that kind of desire or fire to want them to succeed so badly more than themselves. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love about you though too, because like with your testimonials, and even talk about what made you even start Digital Freedom Launchpad, because even a couple of days ago, like it makes me cringe when I have to still spend money, right? I don't know why. Now I got a whole different mindset, but you have to invest in yourself in order to reach your goals. I'm building this cool community for taxes and AI and business marketing and everything. And so getting AI in this wealth strategy, you've got to invest in yourself. So talk a little bit about what made you create the Digital
So
Freedom Academy and
so
get
so
started.
if you scroll up, or
Mhm.
actually if you just reload the page, there's another version of this. Or maybe just scroll up, let me just see if it's there, and I'll
Okay.
tell you exactly why visually. Okay, just scroll down a little bit, because there's two versions of this page. I can't remember if this one has it. Scroll down, scroll down. There, here.
Mhm.
uh, Actually, it's on my other page. If you could load that. Basically, what I did was, I created a live video. Okay,
Mhm.
when I realized that this new AI text slash image post strategy is blowing up and is being kept by all the big dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. And I
Mhm.
realized it. I realized what was going on. I was like, holy crap, they are growing like crazy, and they are misleading people into saying, oh, this is working because if you buy my program, this is the results that you're going to get. And I was like, that really made me furious. So
Right.
I went live, and in my other landing page, I actually have a screenshot of the live video that I did. And I
Mhm.
said something like, this is an emergency live. I didn't even plan, I didn't have a script. I say, listen, it's time for the underdogs to win. And I said something like, the rich keep getting rich because they keep it in their circle. And that's exactly what all the big dogs was doing. And I said in that very live that I am going to break this thing wide open. I'm going to
Right.
do it for free. And if you guys want in, comment, I'm in. Okay. This is only for underdogs. That's how
Mhm.
this whole thing started. Because
Mhm.
the idea was not to monetize, right? It's never been my style.
Right.
And the fastest way that I could do it is by going live on Facebook and saying, listen, there's this thing that's really happening right now. It's absolutely insane, right? I've just tried it. It's working for me. And I'm pretty sure that it will work for everybody. And if you guys want in, you've been struggling, you don't have money, you've been trying to do this thing. Now's the time. Comment, I'm in. Join me exactly for free to join my beta group. Okay.
Mhm.
Because the intent was, if this thing was so powerfully good and it was working, why not share it? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
my perspective was, there are over 5 billion plus people on Facebook.
Right.
Okay. Which means that there is plenty of money for everybody,
Right.
right? So that's why I said, listen, if you have no funds, if you've been struggling, if you're an underdog, whatsoever, comment that keyword. And then essentially, honestly, I didn't have a plan, but my plan was to teach them all how to do it. But to my surprise, that video essentially somewhat blew up. And before I knew it, in like hours, We have at least 20, 30, all the way up to 50 people telling me they want in. And I did not realize the kind of impact that I was going to create, that at 20 plus people, it was already chaotic because I already didn't have a plan, right? And somebody in the group, because I started a group chat, right? Like Daniel and Nate's in it too. And somebody's group like, Alwi, you might want to put a cap to this because it's going to get really messy. I said, you know what? You're right. Okay, so I'm saying, sorry guys, I really have to cap it at like about 20, I think we were 25 people to start. And it was getting like hard to even manage. So unfortunately, I had to turn people down. Okay, so the intent was to do it for free. So after we did it, I did the training, I created a private group. We still have the chat until today, teach them whatever it is that they need to do. Everybody, right? I kid you not, within a day, less than 24 hours, spikes increase in every single person. Okay. So we've been doing this now for about a month or two. And I thought to myself, what is the next best thing that I can do, right? Obviously, I need to live as well, right? I'm going to put so much time to teach people and stuff. So that's where the $5 workshop came about, because I thought, well, instead of like putting it at a 997 or a 297 or a 997 kind of offer, make it so ridiculously cost affordable that if a person, this is my psychology, okay, in my mind, if a person is not even willing to invest $5 in a strategy like this that is actually working, they don't deserve to have it.
Right. But that's the faith and belief part, right? That's the part that I love about it, because again, like I'm honestly, I know a couple of months ago when everybody started doing the posting on Facebook, I didn't jump in for a couple of reasons. And I'm still like teetering on the fence. I'm working on what I'm working on. And then I think I'm gonna jump in with it as well. But my mindset is, so like you said, there's billions of people on Facebook every day, right? Yeah. So when you're posting all of these different posts, how does it actually engage my audience? Like they're seeing, so I'm still trying to get over that hurdle. I'm not going to lie to you, because that's the reason I haven't jumped all the way in, because it does take time too to do it. Even though with all the tools and everything else, we got the Red Master, we have all these tools, but it's like, what's my end goal? Just to get views, or I really want to have, so that's why I'm trying to create my why first, my AI wealth strategy.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So let's turn it into a quick coaching session. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
What is your main offer right now?
Say it again.
What is your main offer right now? The thing that you're selling, or the main thing that you're driving people to?
So right now it's the school community, the Tax Extraordinary Resource Community on school.
Okay, perfect. So you got a free, is it a free school community? Okay, absolutely brilliant. So the question is, in order for people to even join that free community of yours, you need people to even hear it or get to know about it, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's step number one with anything, right? Step number one in the entire ecosystem is traffic generation, right? A simpler term for it is getting eyeballs to your community, your offer, or whatever it may be, right? So essentially, you want to generate traffic or build some kind of awareness that people know that this thing exists, right? Okay, so that's why we would create, in the past, we would create a reel, we'll create YouTube videos, we'll create, stories and stuff like that. But this new attention hack, or rather the Facebook Blue Ocean strategy, right? What's happening right now is, in simplest term, in the past, probably 6 months before this, Facebook will only push content in your home feed based on the people that is in your friend circle, okay? And now they've essentially shifted from building community of like-minded people to complete discovery, just like TikTok. Like when you go on TikTok homepage, you see all sorts of people that you don't even follow, right? That's exactly what Facebook's doing right now, which means that if you tap into this kind of AI text/image post, which is so freaking lazy and easy to do.
I know, right?
In all our years, we have not seen anything like this that, in my mind, is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so what happens is, number one, you need traffic, right? And when you post like this consistently, you will realize that two things happens, okay? Number one, if I could show you my analytics, it essentially tells me that every post that I make is not necessarily going to my followers. It's going to non-followers. Okay.
Right, right.
Some of these posts go as far as 90% non-followers and only 10% followers. Okay. So that's crazy. Okay. And something that you'll notice here is the engagements is not like crazy. Like
Right.
last time,
That's what
we
throws
were
me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? You see, it does. So don't listen.
correct. But you must understand something, right? If all of us are doing it every single day. I'm personally posting one post every 3 hours on autopilot. I didn't even write a single word. I
I
won't lie.
noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Right. So that's why I said this is probably the most easiest, simplest, and laziest way that ever existed to drive traffic or eyeballs to your offer. And if you
Right.
look at some of my posts, it's never the same CTA. Sometimes it's the Launchpad, sometimes
Mhm.
it's my school community, and every single day I'm opening my school and people are joining. I don't
Mhm.
promote it anywhere else, which is insane, right? So you might want to start jumping on the bandwagon
You know,
here.
I'm gonna do it today though. You know, you know how it works. Like I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna get right back into
So
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
so
listening.
that's the general idea, and why it is so simple and powerful. In the life when I opened up to Beta, I said, guys, listen, because I work for an edtech company just like Meta, right?
Hmm.
And I told them in that life, I said we have to act fast because we don't know how long until they essentially stop incentivizing or pushing. Okay. The
Right.
backstory or the business context behind this is simply because Meta is a free platform for people, right? So they
Hmm.
don't make money from people like us. They make money from people or businesses who spends money on ads.
Yeah.
Now, to increase your overall ad revenue dollar as a corporate business, you need more people spending time on Meta or Facebook platform. Okay,
Right.
that's exactly why they started to incentivize and start pushing the format that they are the strongest at, because Meta Reels will never beat TikTok Reel. Agree?
That's right.
Right?
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
We could never beat certain elements like it can never beat Twitter in tweets, right? But
Right.
Meta realized that, okay, we're not going to compete on the things that we can't win. Why don't we double down on the things that we can
We
win?
can
And what
win.
can they
Yeah.
win? Text posts. That's what they're strongest at. And then
Hmm.
now text/image posts, which kind of makes sense. So that's why they turn into discovery, because what happens is more people are going to start spending time on Facebook versus going onto TikTok, into IG, so on and so forth. And because of that, creator profiles like us, or anybody essentially that activates a creator or professional profile, they
Hmm.
just get more exposure. Okay, so this is the overall idea. There's a lot more to it, but essentially the general sense. So, and I can tell you that I don't really spend too much time on getting those posts out. That's the most ridiculous part. Like,
Right.
Adrian, I just
Right.
literally sit one day because I've already done the work. I've kind of crystallized, finalized, the prompts and all this kind of stuff. So all I need to do, one day in a week, sit down once and get all my content pretty much done, almost
Hmm.
automated as best as possible. Schedule them a week ahead, and I'm just doing my own thing, building my program right now, shooting the course video. Like I almost don't even bother. It's not best practice to reply in the comments because it's just too many.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. But I mean, but it makes sense. You know, like I say, I listen. So maybe this live virtual conversation was for me. So I'm literally going to
Yeah.
do it today. like I'm going to be, so are you doing between 10 posts every day in regards to, like you set it up every three
Yeah, it's a
hours?
bit crazy. Like I wouldn't lie, because it is still relatively new. The person, right, the big dogs that actually discovered this started as far as April. I only realized it sometime in July. That's why I started this beta group in August.
Hmm.
Because if you are like trained marketer, it's also fundamentally my corporate job to understand what's moving, what's working, and how all this stuff is. So I couldn't help but notice that, oh crap, this thing is actually happening. And it's honestly the most ridiculously simple
Simple. I
thing
know
ever.
it
Yeah.
is,
But
but
but but
yeah.
but it's still now, like I'm still kind of figuring out what's the right balance. between building the know, like, and trust where people can see you, they hear your story versus these things. Because the challenge here is um, what we teach is always about, posting value, your lifestyle. But when you post so aggressively like this, even if you made a lifestyle post or whatever, it just drowns. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself,
I know, right?
hmm,
It's the
yeah,
engineering in me, bro. I'm telling you. I think the same way. It's like, okay, if I'm posting every, because I was doing it for a second, and I got good engagement. I got people more looking at my page or what have you. The numbers went up or what have you. But my thing is, are great, but how does that turn into dollars?
that's a
So,
very that is and that is the $1 million question. Because what started to happen is, and especially now, um, even the beta group students, they got the
mhm,
views. They're
right,
getting insane views. But you hit the nail on the head, right? They don't know what to do with it,
right,
right? And that's exactly why the front end offer, which is the $5 workshop,
hmm,
teaches you this strategy. Which, no doubt, I even put a guarantee that if you don't double your views in X amount of days, I will literally refund your money. You know what I
right,
mean? That's how confident I am. Then
yes,
at the end of that session, I essentially tell them, but listen, the next biggest problem that you have is you have no way to monetize these views. And that's what happened. That is what is happening to, I can safely say, 98% of people doing this strategy.
right,
Okay.
right,
Yeah. So, what I always say is that you need a strategic sales process that is able to bring these people or new audience into your ecosystem that
hmm,
fundamentally nurtures them. Okay. And there's many, many, many different ways to go about this, right? One way could be like what you have, a school community. When I first started this, I
hmm,
didn't promote any offer. I didn't promote pop or anything at all that I had. What I
hmm,
was just wanted to test is, I am so curious to know, will these people actually click on my school link in the comment and actually join my school? To my
hmm.
surprise, they do, right?
Right,
So and especially if your post goes semi-viral, you'd be shocked to see like, whoa, that
right.
is not bad. I'll take it any day, because every day I'm logging into school, for example, and I'm seeing like, oh, okay, interesting. And I know that it's, where is it coming from? Because I never promote it anywhere else. You know what I
Hmm,
mean? I isolated the platform to know that if these people are really coming there, and it happens. And even right now, Adrian, with my $5 workshop, I make a post here and there, a silent launch. No, you didn't see me going live or even like talking about it. But with this strategy, I can see the clear differences of organic sales, and
yeah.
I don't even know who are these people that are buying. That's insane.
It's that part though, right? And you're
Yeah.
still helping people, you're still showing value. And the key thing is like we don't have to charge a lot, but you're getting them into your ecosystem. That's the piece that with the low ticket offer, then getting them to the high ticket offer. So I was looking at your mindset in regards to when you mentor people, how do you help people stay true to their story, even when you're talking about with the $5 program or what have you within your posts? How important is it to be authentic and true to your actual story?
I think that is key,
Hmm,
right? Like, that is everything to me. And that's why, like, when I do this one-on-one sessions and things like that, I always reiterate this point, right? Like, I always ask them, okay, so what did you used to do for a living, if you're still working or not working? Like, I'm trying to understand from some of these students, like, what did you used to do, or what is your specialty, right? So for you, like, Adrian, was it like tax related? Like, is that your background? Like, what was your background?
Well, I was in mortgages before I started my digital journey. So I was a mortgage broker.
Right,
But
there you go, right?
yeah.
So I will naturally kind of start with something that you are already naturally experienced and
Hmm,
knowledgeable in already. Even though it might not be related, like affiliate marketing, master, resell rights and stuff,
right.
um, it's just so much easier to tap into our real, true self and story, because you can create it like this. I don't have to think about anything when I create content, because I know everything that I shared is true to my story and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I 100% believe is one of the most important criteria, and that's always something that I always say, because that is the only freaking
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
makes us unique and different from one another. Even though we might be promoting the same thing, even though we might be implementing the same strategy. You know what I mean? The story is the thing that makes us
The
all
story
different.
is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you like in regards to AI? How do you feel about AI within, representing your story and even helping out with some of like the automations and things that you're doing to get your message across?
Yeah, honestly, such a pain when I first I was like, nah, just like everyone, I had the same resistance. Oh, no, it's too much work, man. I gotta educate it and stuff like it. But the more I got into it with this strategy, the more I realized that, okay, this is absolutely insane,
Right.
right? And like this is something that's so important for yourself and your audiences as well. The one thing that made me go, okay, you know what, I'm just going to push through the barrier and just go through the pain is this. Okay, understanding that whatever time frame that we're living in, like right now, this is the worst AI will ever be,
Yeah.
right? Which
Right.
means that they'll only get better and better and
Right.
better, which means that the later we start, the more complicated and sophisticated it's going to be. But if we are riding the wave and
Mhm.
moving with it, we don't have to be right at the top. But
Right.
if we are moving alongside it and implementing it, then you know that you will be secure in your marketing, in your tactics, and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, like,
And
long
it's so,
story
and it's so
short,
crazy too, bro. If you
yeah,
think about it, I remember even starting when I started my AI journey with Billy Jean. He big on AI. But a couple of years ago, when I even started with being an AI genius and kind of going with that type of deal, it's going to be a divide, right? It's going to be those that actually listen, be a part of AI, and those that don't. Like people think the divide is those that use AI and not. No, the divide is if you have it implemented in your business. So, like, how do you even talk a little bit about how, like, that transition of doing something new, how do you face these ever changing world, right? Because this digital marketing, like Facebook, when we were actually teach or learning it, we couldn't do this strategy. Like, that was what we were caught up on, right? But now
yeah,
it changes. So, how important is it for you to be open to change and be acquainted with people that are open to investing in themselves with change as well?
super, super important. And the way that I see it is we don't have a choice,
Right.
right? Like you have to learn it and you have to go back to being that humble self to say, okay, you know what? I don't know Jack. Dude. Yeah. Right. Like, let me start as a beginner
Right.
and just really go through the pain. And you know what motivates me personally to go through all the pains and all the hoops is that, like in any of our coaching sessions, you can tell that I went through the pain because I can
Yeah.
speak to it so freaking deep and
Right.
can even describe to you what you're gonna feel, what's the thing gonna be. And that's why, like, for me, I'm always willing to go through the pain again because it's
Yeah.
important to actually go through it yourself,
Yeah.
understand the psyche of an individual that's going through it. And when you are in your school community, right, regardless of what the topic is, or when you create courses, free courses, lead magnets, you can tap into the psyche of an individual. That
Yeah.
makes you a very powerful marketer. That is also why
Right.
I always tell students to remember that very moment when they make a high ticket investment or when they get their first sale or anything at all, because
Yes.
that's the exact same mindset, thought process your buyers will go through.
Right.
Crazy, right?
And then try to matriculate it. Like I was telling you just a couple of days ago, I invested in another AI course because I'm trying to take my game to billionaire status, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
you got to invest in yourself because I was looking at Anthony Gallo ads. I hate them, the content creator ads. And so, but having a like, bro, he got me. $98. He got me, right? And
Yeah.
so when I got into the actual course last night, and I was going through some of the trainings, he had a session today. If you look at, like you said, just have to be around like minds. Like we have to, the noise has to go to the side. So how has your journey like shaped who you are and even shows how the type of coach that you are to kind of even take on all these different things, even people, and seeing success like myself, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck. You're stuck with me.
uh, sorry. What is exactly the question? Like how?
So how does your the type of your journey leads you to be the type of coach that you are? Like students like me that, like I
Got it.
said, that you're stuck with, like myself.
Got it.
How
Got it. Got
does
it.
yeah? So how does that actually play into your part as being a leader?
So it's really simple, right? I struggled and failed for 6 years, wasted tons and tons of money, right? I kind of went through like almost everything that everybody else would have gone through, if not worse,
Right.
right? So in my mind, I always told myself when I was going through that pain, I was like, man, if I ever invest in anyone, I'm not going to be like that person that I experienced. If I ever create a course, I'm not going to do it like the way that the course that I bought in that freaking costs so much, but it's, not even half as good.
Right.
And I think the most important thing is, I was like, why is it that everyone that does this space, all they want to do is just make money and forget about the people?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, how much money do you need?
Right.
Right? Like, I mean, yes, we all do it to make money, but to a certain degree, man. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
it's true what I said. How much money do you really need? Like, greed shouldn't be the driving point. So that's exactly why I try to give everything back that I can, because essentially, who am I saving? Or when I'm, doing coaching or helping and all this stuff, I'm saving myself in those days, right? It sucks so bad. My chances of success or probability to be here where I am could have easily gone sideways should I
Right.
fall into one bad motivated day, you know? Like, that's how bad it could have been. So if I could prevent anyone from kind of going through that, or going through that experience, that's exactly what drives me to do and teach and coach the way that I do. Yeah.
But like, was this somebody that, because even the way you're speaking right now, I can feel your passion through, like, I know people say with these live conversations, they don't feel people, but I
Yeah.
can feel your passion seriously through just our conversation. Was
Yeah.
this somebody that actually helped, like, had your back? Like, I speak highly of my business partner, Unica Gaines, because like through this journey, like the ups and downs, and bro, if I didn't have Unica in my life, it would have been bad. Like, because
Yeah.
you don't have people around you that believes in you. And I know everybody loves you, but did you have somebody in your life that, like, literally, I know you got your wife and your baby or what have you, but did you have somebody like cheering you on those rough days? Like, it was just
No.
all mentally just the grind of who you are, huh?
Yeah, because honestly, nobody understands what I do, right? My
Bro,
parents don't get it, right?
they
I
don't
had a
get it.
I have a
Right.
double life, right? And you know, even my colleagues don't get what I do. Like the
Yeah.
most popular question I get asked at work is, "So, Alwi, what do you do on weekends?" Right? Because everyone else is like, Friday night, let's go for drinks. Like, on the weekend, let's go and do this. And I'm like, no way, I'm gonna waste my time with that. I'm building
Right.
my future right here. So when people ask me this question, they don't know that I was living this double life, right? I would say, I stay at home. They're like,
Right.
what? Like, you don't go out? I say, no, I work on my own stuff. I don't go into the details, but they are like so like puzzled and amazed, right? And I also learned like better not to share much information because they will ask too much questions and stuff. So even like my family at the time wouldn't understand what I'm trying to do, but
Mhm.
my wife is definitely the key anchor. She's the one who, agreed to me investing like 12, 15K for coaching. And she even rationalized it when I told myself, like, oh my God, $15,000 is a lot. And bear in mind, I'm from Asia, right? So, like $1,000 is a lot of money for
Right.
us.
Shoot,
So
a lot of
my
money
wife,
for us too. Shoot.
my wife tells me until today, right? Like when I left my corporate job,
Hmm.
she still tells me until today that she thinks, like she will tell me, she thinks that she believes in me more than I believe in myself, which is insane.
Mm.
Like to have this kind of like support um, is just phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
because who is the one that's actually sacrificing as I'm living this double life? It's my
Right.
wife, if you think
Right.
about it. Because instead of us hanging out watching Netflix or something like this, she understands that I'm sorry, love. Like, I have to go to bed late because I gotta do X, Y, and Z. And on Saturday, when she want to go out with friends, sometimes, right, I'll sacrifice as well. I'll say, sorry, love. Like, you go ahead, have fun. I just need to really work on this stuff that we have right now, for our future, that kind of thing. And she's always been understanding. Were there days where she say like, you work too much? Of course, there is. So I guess the thing here is definitely my wife, but there will also be days where you have to realize and understand as an entrepreneur or as a
Right.
dreamer, right, with really big goals, that
Yeah.
at the end of the day, only you and you alone can really understand the vision that you have, right? I think Grant Cardone said something very powerful as well. He said, like, when he was working his way up,
Hmm.
right, he wasn't focused about taking care of his family and all this kind of stuff. He was focused on getting himself as successful as possible, because once he gets successful, he
Yep.
then can take care of every freaking thing around him.
Yep.
So that also came with,
Yep.
arguments with wife and all this kind of things. And I was like, actually, you know what? That's crazy true, because you're the only person who can actually see it, materialize it. So yeah, it's good to rely on someone to have the support, but try your best to also be as independent as possible, and just know that not everyone's going to get you. Give me a second. My dog is like,
No worries. And what he was sharing too, like I say it all the time, being an entrepreneur is the loneliest sport in the world. Oh, look at the doggy. Oh,
yeah,
what kind of dog was it? And it has the little thing on. What did you
hold on.
do?
It's a cone. Yeah, she tends to lick her paw.
So I was just sharing that being an entrepreneur is the loneliest sport in the world. I'm an athlete. So like, you're used to being a team sport, but I think track was my only individual sport where you had to kind of cheer on yourself, but you still had a team, right? Before you can actually score. But my point is like just getting around, like we have the whole Wealth Warriors team, right? How important was it, like Daniel and Nathan and Chris?
I was
and
I was gonna get to that. That is super important as well, because
how did you guys meet? How did you guys meet?
I basically was like almost like student number one for one of their boot camps in the very, very beginning, in the earliest days. So I actually started with them, and I still am with them, right? I started off as a student like everybody else, right? Because I would invest, try to learn all these strategies and try to see how I can fit them into what I'm doing. So it worked, right? That's when I learned about Facebook organic the first time. The only difference is I started to do all the 6 years of failure, right? And start to merge it, hybrid it, create a process, and essentially build my own way of doing things. And it's been so important with them. And I thank them all the time as well, because what happened over time is we built a community of like-minded individuals trying to move towards a specific goal. And my wife cannot understand half of the things that why I do what I do, because she doesn't get this kind of business. But with this circle, it is super helpful, because we can knowledge share. We can, sometimes they're asking me how to do stuff. Sometimes I'm asking them how to do stuff. It's like a network community of, great guys, essentially. So super, that's the other half of the entire journey, I would say. Yeah.
And it's so great, because that was how I got to meet all of you guys. And you don't ever feel like you're alone, because you have this whole band of coaches that are together and working towards a common goal. So how has faith in grounding yourself in the strength in your process kind of led you to shaping you to be the coach and creator you are today, Coach?
Meaning like this process?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like being part of a community? Well, I think it's pretty interesting. Like I remember when I first started, right? Because Daniel and Nate was ahead of me. So when I first started, and I was like, okay, I created my own bootcamp. Now what?
Right?
Right? The truth is everyone starts from somewhere. So I kind of mapped most of it on my own. And there were times where I say, guys, what exactly do you do in this thing again, where you kind of got all these people in? Like how do you do it? It's like, then they will share, right? That's why our relationship is the way that it is, because very early into the days, I realized that I'm surrounded by individuals who are not selfish. They're willing to give, and just by nature, we always give back, right? There's some things that I'm really good at. There's some things that they're really good at. Every coach is really good at different things, by the way. So imagine putting all these guys together, like in this group of 6 or 7 of us, definitely one of us is an expert in that topic. How cool is that?
Right. And so what would you say is your expertise, like in regards to, would you say Facebook, or just your digital marketing journey, or even just talk about your digital marketing course? What made you start like your own digital Freedom Launchpad? I want to make sure that you give some information.
So digital Freedom Launchpad is actually not a cost, and not to worry, because I didn't officially announce it or talk about it at all. The only thing that I'm talking about in the front end, just started, is the $5 workshop. It is actually a 4-phase journey, and it's subscription based, right? And I kind of designed the psychology to getting people to actually do the work, and they unlock model, and it's highly gamified, by the way. So you can't just come in and go from model one all the way to the end. Nope, no way. You got to start from phase number one, do the assignment, post the stuff based on instructions. I
Right.
personally review it. Only then I will look at your work and I say, okay, good, you're good to go for the next phase, for example.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's highly gamified, because I took all the things that I learned from coaching individuals, coaching groups, and what makes people not move forward in their journey. So I kind of created this kind of 4 phase process for them. But in this what the specialty I would say is, actually I'm an all-rounder marketer, right?
Mhm.
Anything and everything works well for me, but I would say personal branding, authentic marketing, right?
Mhm.
Video creation, speaking, and stuff is a lot of the things that's in my alley. No brainer, super bonus offers, right? So many things actually. Like, a lot of people will tell me, like, yeah, I'm a great marketer. And I only am because I look at a lot of references, I study a lot of different stuff. I also try to model and improve something that's already existing in the market and things like this. So really like a jack of all trade, just getting back to that set. But like all the coaches, fundamentally we are all really good at how do I say Facebook. Yeah.
And then Danny Jr. just shared too. He said the great reminder that honesty is the best strategy in business, and even just knowing that your story, and that's why we do these live virtual conversations, is because your story is the best marketing tool that you have to leverage just getting started and going through that as well. So I do thank you for your time. I want to make sure I hit the top 8 before we actually check out as well. But I want to talk about Digital Freedom Launchpad just a tad bit, because again, it's so great being a part of a community. But what you bring to the table, Coach, is something authentic that nobody else. I love everybody, and that's no bias. But when you bring it to the actual table, is so amazing. So for somebody that's on the fence in regards to getting started in digital marketing, maybe they're in the corporate world and they want to get started with digital marketing. What's something that you would actually share with them to kind of even look towards, having you as a mentor? Because like I said, I hands down, you're amazing.
Well, I guess it's, if you want sincerity or authenticity, genuinity, then definitely that's where I would come, because I would literally tell people, no, you
Yeah.
know, no, or this is not for you, and why, right?
Right.
Because, everybody is different in their journey. Some people come into this no experience at all. Some
Mhm.
people have some digital experience but have no idea with personal branding. That's why this part of the process is key, like really understanding the student first based on what they essentially need. But in regards to Digital Freedom Launchpad, I've designed it in such a way that it takes this Facebook attention hack, which is one of the most hardest part for beginners, where you get eyeballs to an offer, and
Yeah.
then essentially position you as the marketplace authority for your niche, for your product, for your offer, and it works for any, right? And then from there, we essentially go through the respective steps and sequence that I used, right, to essentially make my first 10K, 20K, 30K, the exact same steps, okay? Because I can tell you, even though this was 3-4 years ago, it is still highly relevant today. What changed? The only thing that changed is the front end traffic source. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And James actually is asking the question as well, in regards to what's the first step to launching a digital brand from scratch?
Okay, so I would say for your digital brand from scratch is start building the know, like, and trust. Okay, start putting out your messaging, whatever it is that your brand stands for, whatever is that unique selling proposition of your brand, right? Like who you are, who do you serve, and what kind of results you help them generate. This needs to continuously come out in your content as you're gathering all of your people, right? Because when we put out specific messages, you attract the right kind of audience to come to you. So you definitely want to do that on your social profile. You don't want to use all social profile. You want to pick one that you are really good at or easiest to use. I'll recommend Facebook for now before you start going into, Instagram, TikTok, and stuff. Okay, there's a lot more to it, honestly. But yeah, that's probably the best way. You need to build a personal brand.
So if they fill out this form here, that would actually get you into their ecosystem, correct? To be able to start helping them in regards to the next steps for the digital journey. The link is on the screen as well. Is that correct, Coach?
Yeah, just to clarify, this link is for you, madam.
Okay.
Yeah, but essentially, like if anyone wants to kind of discover roughly what it is and all the stuff that I spoke about and how this entire digital freedom launchpad comes in, you guys can just go to alwibatarilan.com/5x, or you can see it on my profile. Start with the workshop first because it's only $5. You get a good idea about what it is that you want to potentially go in. If you kind of like what you hear and it kind of makes sense in how I essentially position and put them in, then only you can look into Digital Freedom Launchpad. And that's why I don't promote the Digital Freedom Launchpad on the front end, because the $5 workshop is essentially pre-qualifying the audiences as it is, right? If they can self-identify that this thing makes sense, right, then they will know what's the next step. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
Bro, you're an inspiration to David. And then too, Clyde was asking, how can beginners start building their digital freedom like this? And so you just gave it, and I want to put it up on the screen in regards to your link. Here it is. So if you go to your actual link, that will actually help people get started with the $5 journey. Because freaking amazing content, Coach. I appreciate it, and so much people as well. Branson is asking, I want to ask as well, what's the difference between Passion Over Profits and your digital launchpad?
Okay, that's a good question, right? So Passion Over Profits is a master resale rights programs, also known as MRR, where it's a digital you buy a digital franchise license, essentially, where you own part of the business. You can resell for 100%. Digital Freedom Launchpad is a very strategic 4-phase process that you will go through that will essentially firstly teach you the most important part, which is how to generate traffic utilizing this new Facebook traffic hack or attention hack that I call it. Step number 2 is positioning yourself as an authority in your space. Even if you have no following, by the way, guys, this will work for you. Even if you want to do this faceless, this will work for you. Okay. And how do they do that? Through your essential Facebook profile. Phase number 3 is essentially bringing them into your ecosystem, right? Where you create either a lead magnet of yourself and things like this, right? And once people come in, your back end magic starts to kick in. Okay. So it's an entire ecosystem. And the beauty about this is program neutral, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter what you want to sell. You can even promote mine if you like, or if you don't have a product, I actually even give you guys my top recommended list, right? But essentially this works regardless of what kind of offer to promote. So you got traffic, right? You got authority, you got a way to build your backend, right? So that you can start emailing and nurturing your backend system. And then the final 4th phase is all about closing sales. My proven DM scripts and frameworks on how to handle all this conversation. Right?
And you're honest and authentic too. So that's the greatest thing too. And don't be shy, bro. Your link is on the screen, because again, I know I wouldn't be here in regards to mentorship and getting like these strategies and just knowing you over the last 3 years. So I thank you for just having your whole journey. And then Clive says you're amazing too. So he says a great discussion that we're having. So awesome. Thank you so much, Clive, as well, for joining in. So let's do the fun top 8, because I got to get you back to doing your things and what have you. I appreciate you. So if you could be any superhero, Coach, what superhero would Alwi be? And then why? I would be Flash, because I'm a Delta from Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So what would yours be?
I do like Flash. I would just say Superman, because that's always been my favorite since child. And I still, who doesn't want their powers? Yeah.
Right. And play along if you're actually watching this live in the comments as well. So, you said Superman. Is that right? Is that
yes.
Superman? Okay, awesome. So if you could eat any food, Coach, all day, every day, my food's still going to be watermelon. If you could eat any food, what would it be and why?
Okay, well, fried chicken.
No
brainer. Fried chicken, every day, any day. Or Asian chicken rice, right? I'm not sure if like you guys will be familiar with it. I can eat it every single day. Yeah.
So what's the difference with Asian chicken rice? Like, would you say Asian? Say it again.
Yeah. So it's basically we in Asia we just call it chicken rice, and essentially it's just boiled chicken with boiled rice in chicken broth. That's it. And some chili. Very, very simple, basic food. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I love it. And so my next one for you is, if in regards to where you from. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? Detroit Lions won. Come on. So where would you say, where are you from and where do you call home now?
Well, I'm from Malaysia. I just
Mhm.
happen to be half Filipino. And where do I call home right now? Malaysia is still home, even though I'm living in the Middle East right now. Yeah.
So I know that's right. I mean, home is home, right?
Yeah.
And so, in regards to travel, I used to live in Toronto. As you know, that was my favorite place. My cousin played for, with Toronto Raptors. So, T Dot, what up, though? Where's your favorite place that you've traveled, and why?
Whoa, that is a tough one. I never really thought about it. Ooh, let's see. I recently went to Japan, Kyoto specifically, uh,
Nice.
with my wife, and
Mhm.
we just have such a good time that it's still at the back of our minds. Where my wife told me, like, "Can we live here?" I said, "Yeah, we could." Like just not yet, okay? But
Right.
we could because we've lived in many countries by now. And I said,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good possibility because we liked it. We really, really enjoy everything about it. Yeah.
I don't know. When I went to Japan, they looked at me like I was a giant because I'm 5'11", and everybody, so they were taking pictures with me. I'm like, I'm no one, but okay, just tall black girl from Detroit. So, but no, I love Japan as well. So, in regards to your favorite season or time of day or what have you, mine is my sobriety date, right? November 20th, 2023. Like that old Adrian I got rid of and alcohol, I'm done with it. So that's the day. That was also the day my cousin actually passed away. So, Jabari Weston. So I keep him in my mind every day. So, do you have like a day, coach, like that is like stands out for you, or a season, or even a holiday that stands out for you that kind of is huge for your journey?
Hmm. For my journey, I think I will forever remember the month and the day that I said bye to my corporate job after 16 years. So I haven't got a chance to celebrate the annual just yet, but that's definitely a date that I'll remember because I'm always thinking, how long has it been? Like what have I done so far since this? Like I've left since May, right? And I kept on only recently as well. I was counting the months. How many months has it been? Okay, what have I done so far in this month? Just to keep myself back in check.
So May, do you know what day it meant? May what?
I think it was May 2nd or 9th, either one of those. Yeah, I honestly can't remember exactly, but I just know it's the first to second week of May. Yeah.
You said the month of May. That's all me. I got you. Okay, no worries. And so, just a couple of words. So, if you could pick one word for your brand and your actual who you are, my word is resilient. What's the one word that you would actually represent for your brand, and what would that, why?
Genuinity. Yeah. I would like two words first. I always say this: genuinity and authenticity. I
Mm-hmm.
think if at the
That's a
center and
big
the
one.
core of my brand, it's all about being authentic, real, truthful, whether I write in a form of a Facebook post or a reel or a story or any kind of video, even in my teachings, right? Like um, if I'm not like 100% good at that topic, I will call it out first. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'll never say like, oh, I'm this expert and all these crazy things. Yeah.
And
So
it's
that's
so crazy. I didn't even tee this up. Clive said, or Clayton, excuse me, said this amazing insights with no crazy. Paula just said, how can authenticity boost brand growth in 2025? And you said that's your one word. Do you mind answering that real quick for Paula?
Yeah. So how does authenticity boost brand growth in 2025? Honestly, just think about it logically.
Mhm.
Like I'm assuming like Paula, I don't know what niche you're in, but let's just assume for a minute you're in a make money online. Okay, what happens in the make money online industry? Everyone is going to tell you, hey, this super secret system is a step 1, 2, 3 to making your first $10,000 online, right? Or they'll go with, oh, this is so easy, it's crazy. I was in the toilet literally and I made $1,000, something crazy like this, right? Because it's usual, right? But
Right.
when you are authentic, right? Like me, when I first started, I said, listen, making money online is not at all easy. In fact, it
Right.
is insanely difficult. But let me tell you, it is a real thing. And
Mhm.
if you are willing to actually put in the work, keep your head down and not expect immediate results, I can guarantee you guys this may potentially work for you. Boom. Okay. When you hear content like this that comes from a very authentic place, because that was real, right? That was what I was feeling. And I didn't want to be that guy that says, hey, it's so easy to do this thing. No, I wanted to be the guy that goes against the grain and be the guy who actually calls it out as it is, as it rightfully should. Okay. And then just to coach you real quick, the reason why I do that is because Now I'm repelling all the guys who are lazy and just want a quick magic solution, right? But instead, I'm attracting the guys who is like, hey, it makes sense.
Right.
At least this guy is actually saying something that's completely different versus a thousand of people that's there. That's exactly how authenticity is going to boost your brand growth in 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30th. You will never run away. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Come on, that's amazing. So, in regards to like your mindset, is there a book or a movie that motivates you for mindset? Mine's still Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. They didn't teach financial education in schools. Do you have like a book or anything that actually stands out for you in regards to this building?
Not so much a book, but most recently, what I've been doing is like listening to, I think it's Motivation University,
Okay.
right? Like on Spotify.
Okay.
And that kind of like, I just let the playlist go and that
Mhm.
kind of just fires you up. Like
Yeah.
seriously, it does. And when I'm going for a walk, I just play, or when I feel like not as pumped and motivated for the day, I play it sometimes. Honestly, Tony Robbins is probably the best in this space. Like if
Yeah.
you just listen to any of his free YouTube sessions or on Spotify, that like
Mhm.
really boosts you up. Yeah.
And that's awesome because Tony Robbins is such a positive, like a role model, right? His mindset is just on another page. So my last question for you, my friend, is in regards to if you can go back, in your journey, like way back to the beginning. You said like 16 years ago you started corporate, but even before that, when you were a young Alwi, if you could tap yourself on the shoulder and give yourself some type of advice that would help you go through life, what would that advice be? And you're listening because us as kids, we can listen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what advice would you share in regards to that?
Like 16 years back.
Or even before
I
this young Aubrey?
Yeah, this young Alwi, man, I think just go through the pain as you would. And essentially, I wish I knew earlier that the pain exists or the challenge exists for a reason, and that we don't know when exactly is it going to come to life and that realization comes, but it will come, right? Because it took me quite a long time to realize that all of these things that we go through has a reason behind it. It's setting you up for something that you just don't know or don't see just yet. And I guarantee you guys, you will look back and say, man, I'm so glad I went through that pain that point of time because it taught me X, Y, and Z and makes me prepared for whatever it is that needs to be done for right now, you know?
I'm just going to say right now that I'm hyped because this is the most people I've ever had on my live virtual conversation. 137 people. Oh my God, Coach!
Wow,
That
damn,
is
that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching, as well as Coach Alwi for everything that you've done as well. And please don't hesitate to reach out. His link is right below his name. Because, again, if you want someone that's authentic, that has been through the journey, that knows the ups and downs, that left the corporate life, that puts family first, that was given to you straight and no straight shooter, seriously, but still loves you at the end. That's what Coach Alwi represents. And I honestly want to thank you for even saying yes for the live virtual conversation today. Because again, it's billions of, and this is the part I don't understand. There's billions of people on Facebook in the world, right? But taking a risk on yourself, that takes a lot of strength. And to get around like minds to be able to do so, that's what you've done today, Coach. You've helped me hit a record today. What up, though? And
Ew, that's good. Let's go.
And literally everybody that's watching, you watched something that's so amazing in regards to just this today and this in itself. So is there anything that you want to actually leave the people with? Because like I said, you're in a record-breaking day for the live virtual conversation.
Well, firstly, I want to thank you very much for having me. I really do appreciate it. You are absolutely amazing, always filled with energy. Like that's really, really something that nobody can ever take away from you. And energy is equally as important to showing up. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, like for everybody else, guys, like no matter what it is, I you just need to kind of believe that you can actually do it. Okay, if you're struggling with something, you're only presently struggling with it. If you acknowledge it by yourself and admit that that is the problem, that is essentially step number one. Step number two is just finding the solution to get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? That's how I look at life. Yeah.
That's it. And that's it. And I thank you too. And I'm going to ask you for a testimonial. You know it's coming. But I'll hit you on the Instagram for that, or the DM for that. But thank you for your time today, and all the words that you actually shared. So thanks, Coach.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wow, let's go. What up, though? Coach Alwi Batarilan. I don't know. You know what? Let me bring him back on real quick. Coach, how do you say your last name?
it's Batarilan, because I'm half Filipino, so that's a little bit of a Spanish side. Yeah.
Say it one more time. Batarilan.
Batarilan.
Batarilan. See, say
Yeah.
the name right. Okay, thanks. All right, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's go, Coach Batarilan. Hi, come on. Live virtual conversation with Adrian Baines. I just want to thank everybody for showing up today and listening to this millionaire mentor that's launching the Digital Freedom Launchpad, and even giving an opportunity for a $5 course to get started in this digital marketing journey, as well as day 509 in the billionaire journey, helping me hit a record for the live virtual conversations. What up, though? Come on, Coach Alwi. I've been doing these since May 6, 2025, and they have been amazing. But hitting a record today, oh, come on. It just feels great that how God actually has everything aligned. So I'm going to leave you with this in regards to just understanding this digital journey. A couple of days ago, I invested myself with Anthony Gallo, and of course, content creator, because AI is the next thing. When I found out my coaches were going to the AI summit this weekend, and knowing that more and more that you invest in yourself, it starts to get around a team of people that are actually doing the work with you and be in the trenches with you. That's what Coach Alwi does. That's what Adrian Mays, your AI cash story captain, will do. But it's you versus you at the end of the day, because it doesn't matter. Even if you spend the $5, if you don't look in regards to doing the work and getting the results and believing in yourself, you're just going through the steps. So I want you to literally just take these moments of knowing that you're exactly where you're supposed to be today. But as long as you keep going, stay motivated, get around like minds, and know that if you around the corner, the best version of yourself is almost there. You're in the right place, my friends. So hopefully you got some value out of this live virtual conversation with me. Make sure that you go ahead and get started now, and just pop the link in regards to getting a part of the community, building something amazing with the Tax Extraordinaire in regards to AI, business marketing, and taxes. And so you can actually know to stop leaving money on the table. But the things that they don't tell you, that's what we're building to help people grow in this digital grind. So you're not alone, my friends. And you got to keep going. So you know how we end every live virtual conversation. I can, I will, I shall be victorious. What up, though? Detroit, Michigan, to come on, Malaysia. Oh, my God, all around the world. Let's go. Deuces.